Guys, welcome back to the channel. Sandra and Mango here. Whoa, you okay, buddy? So today what we're going to share with you is how to keep your Sun Conure or your conure quieter. I've done it with Mango, so it is possible. They are loud birds, and in general, it is a bird's natural instinct to just be loud. They chirp, they squawk, they scream. They're loud animals, but it is possible to get them to be a little bit quieter. With Mango, I find that he's quiet just as much as he's loud. He's actually quiet more so than he is loud. And I'm going to share in this video the things that you shouldn't do, the things that you can try, and the things that we've done that have worked for us. So let's get into it. So let's start off with the things that you should never do. So one of the things that you should never do is scream back at your bird. Don't scream back, because then you're giving them attention and you're just being louder than they are, and it encourages that behavior. So if you scream back at them, they're going to be like, wow, I'm getting attention, I'm getting a reaction, and they're going to continue to scream to get reactions from you. So never scream back. Don't try to be louder than your bird. The next thing you should never do is give them food or treats or toys to get them to stop screaming, because you're actually going backwards by rewarding them for screaming. So every time they want food or treats or toys, they're going to scream. So don't do that. You also never want to cover their cage or their aviary to get them to stop screaming. You also don't want to spray them with water. I know I've seen online some people will say to spray them with a spray bottle, but spraying them with a spray bottle is not a good idea. It's not going to get them to stop screaming, and it's actually kind of mean, I feel like. But bath time should be an enjoyable time, and they shouldn't associate it with something bad like they're in trouble. So never spray them, don't cover them, and of course you probably already know this, but you should never like strike at your bird or get really angry and frustrated with them. So now let's talk about some things that you can try. So these are some things that I have done or I continue to do that do work for us, but it's not what I did initially to get Mango to be quieter. So the first thing that you can try to do is speak quietly to your bird. I don't know why I'm speaking quietly now. I'm just showing you an example. So you can speak quietly to your bird, or you can whisper, and if they whisper back or they're quiet back, reward that. Another thing that you can try is playing calming music or nature music. I like to play nature classical music. You can just look on YouTube, or some like waterfalls or babbling brooks. This is usually something that's really calming and gentle. So if they're screaming, it might get them to stop and listen to this music and listen to maybe the birds and the forest music background that you're playing, and it'll bring that screaming down or stop it completely. And then you can of course reward them once they're quiet. And always make sure to be really gentle with your bird. I think that goes without saying. That you can try is keeping a diary or a journal and seeing if you can pick up a pattern of when your bird starts screaming or being extra loud or squawking really loud or whatever you want to call it, and see if you can figure out a pattern. And then once you can figure out a pattern, you can kind of get ahead of the screaming and the loudness by distracting them before that time comes. So maybe distracting them with some fun new toys or foraging opportunities or doing some training. So you could do some target training or things like that and just get ahead of it. Another thing is that sometimes we don't realize that there's things in our home that's triggering them to scream or squawk and be loud. So turn off the things that are making loud noises that could be triggering your bird to be loud. For example, the TV, or if you're playing loud music that isn't like classical, nature, calming, meditation, or whatever type of music. So turn off all the things that are making super loud sounds. And another thing is check outside. Maybe there's something outside that's triggering them to scream and be loud. Maybe there's some machine, like a lawnmower, or there's construction going on, or there's an animal outside. So make sure that it's not an outside trigger that's making them scream and they're just reacting to what they're seeing or experiencing some like fearful emotions or something from whatever's outside. Now, you know all the things that you shouldn't do, the things that you can try that are going to be helpful no matter what. For example, playing that calming music. I usually like to play like background music for us and for Mango throughout the day. So we always have some kind of a classical birds, nature music. You can also find specific music just for birds that's going to be calming for them, and usually the playlists are like 2 or 3 hours. I'll link one below, and I'll also link one of the playlists that I like to play for us and for Mango below. Maybe I'll link a few. And now I'm going to tell you guys the juicy stuff, the good stuff, the goods. This is all the stuff that I've done with Mango, and I was just really consistent with it, and it worked. And Mango is quite a quiet Sun Conure. I mean, sure, he's still loud, but he's pretty good. So I found this to be one of the most helpful tactics that we used in getting Mango to stop being so loud and screamy. And it was ignoring the screaming. He would have moments or like fits where he would just scream and scream and scream and scream and scream. And he is screaming usually because he wants something. So if I don't give him what he wants, he's not going to continue to scream. So I wouldn't give him the attention that he was seeking when he was screaming, because a lot of the times if he's screaming, he wants me or my husband, but usually it's me. He just loves me. I'm his person. So if he wasn't getting me, then he would stop screaming. And that's when I would go over to him. So basically what you want to do is ignore the screaming and then go over to them when they're quiet so that they're getting what they want when they're quiet. So if Mango's goal is to get my attention, then he'll scream, and I would ignore that. And then when he was quiet, I would go to him and he would get my attention. Now, this is a tricky one because there's something else that comes into play here. When our birds are loud and noisy, that's usually when we notice them and give them the most attention. People tell them to be quiet and they get frustrated, but we don't give our birds enough attention when they're quiet. So in addition to doing that, I was also making sure that consistently throughout the day, every single day, anytime that he's flying around like crazy, anytime that he is quiet, I go over to him, I give him attention, I give him a treat, I reward him for that quiet behavior, and I'm consistent with that. So it's not just about ignoring them. You don't want to just ignore your bird all the time or all day or every day. That's not what I'm saying that we need to do here. But what you want to do is make sure that you acknowledge when they're quiet. Go over to them and give them a treat or a reward or a toy or attention or play with them, cuddles, whatever it may be, to reinforce that positive behavior of them being quiet. Another part of that was if we were in the same room and he's screaming for me, then I would leave the room until he was quiet, and it usually didn't take too long, and then I would come back and I would reward him for being quiet. And then he realized over time, he's going to learn that I get what I want when I'm quiet. Now, I didn't only reward Mango for being quiet and those quiet moments that he was having throughout the day, but I was also rewarding him for the sounds that I wanted to hear. So if you have a conure or if you have a Sun Conure, then you know that they make a whole range of different sounds. Some of them are big and loud sounds, some of them are squawky, some of them are cute, some of them are small sounds. They just have tons of different sounds. So I started to reward the sounds that I wanted to hear from him, because I know that he's gonna make noise. That's just in his nature, but I was trying to encourage the sounds and the noises that I wanted him to make. So I'm going to show you in the next clip the sounds that he makes when he's in his room and he wants to come out and join us in the living room, or just be with us. So he has his own time sometimes in his room, and he loves it. He hangs out by the window and just watches the nature and bird watches. When it's raining, he loves to sit there and watch the rain. But when he's finished or he wants company and he wants to socialize, I've trained him and rewarded him to make a specific sound. Instead of screaming and squawking and being noisy and crazy, he just makes this cute little sound, and his reward is coming out and socializing and being with his flock. And on top of that, he also gets a treat and will maybe play together, cuddle together, or do some target training. Plus, your bird will love you and thank you for it, because it's really great for their physical health and their mental health. So Mango's in his room, and instead of screaming like crazy, he makes this sound to let me know, I want to be with you. Mango? You want to come out? Okay. Hi! Come on. I miss you. Mango's being quiet, so I'm going to go reward him. Hi, baby. Whoop. Good boy. Now, the next thing I recommend, and something that we do with Mango, so all the things that I'm telling you guys about is things that we actually do and things that have actually worked for us. So the other thing is I do training with Mango every day. I also let him, as you've noticed in this video, do flying, or like lots of flying around the house. He's very active, and I'll do some flying sessions in the house with him. And I also take him on a 1 or 2 kilometer walk every day in our bird carrier, and it just gets him to get that fresh air. He gets lots of exercise, he's super active, and that really spends his energy. And when your bird spends their energy, they tend to be a little bit more mellow throughout the day. So you can give that a try as well. So next I'm going to talk about inconsistent consistency. So this is in regards to their daily routine. So we have like a general daily routine, but it's not the same every single day, because I don't want to set Mango up with a routine that I have to live up to every single day. That this happens at this time, and then we do this, and then we do that, and then something else. So every day is a little bit different, but of course every day I'm consistent with giving him his breakfast and his dinner at the, around the same times, and changing his water and cleaning his cage and all that kind of stuff, and doing training and flying sessions, but they're not always at the same time. So you want to be consistent with things that you do with your bird every single day, but you want to have that inconsistent consistency so that you aren't setting yourself up with a routine that your bird is going to expect every single day. And that's going to keep things like a little bit more easygoing and flexible, and it could also help to get your bird to be a little bit less like agitated or frustrated when things don't go according to. So if you try and follow these recommendations, I'm sure it will help you to keep your bird quieter. If you have some other recommendations, don't forget to leave them in the comments below, or things that you've done with your bird that have worked for you, so that we can all help each other. But just keep in mind that we need to be consistent with this, otherwise our birds won't catch on. So it might take a day or two, it might take a week or two, or a month or two, but be consistent. And if you're consistent, then with time, your bird is going to realize that screaming doesn't get me anything that I want. It doesn't get me anywhere, but when I'm quiet or I make these cute little sounds, then I get attention, rewards, and so forth. Now, another thing is I've heard a lot about Sun Conures or just parrots in general. They scream in the morning and they scream at night before they go to bed. And I have to tell you that Mango has never done this. He's never screamed in the morning and he's never screamed at night. I don't know. Maybe he's like a magical Sun Conure, but I'm telling you guys the truth. He never screams at sunrise, at sunset, or in the morning in general, or at night, or before bed, or anything. So I don't have any advice in that department. So that's it, guys. Just keep in mind that, you know, being loud is part of being a bird, so we can't get them to be completely quiet, but we can definitely encourage them and train them to reduce their screaming and the things that they scream or squawk about. And the good news is that there are things that we can do to help minimize that loudness, and Mango's been like a really great sport. And you're just the goodest bird, right? You tell everybody how quiet you are. You show them. You show them you're a quiet guy. Yeah! So that's it for today, guys. Don't forget to leave a comment if this was helpful for you, or if you have some helpful tips that we can share with each other about how to keep our Sun Conures or parrots in general quieter. Don't forget to hit the like button or claw the like button. Actually, can we beak the like button? Beak, beak, beak. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time.